The following is a presentation of the Redskins Broadcast Network.
Welcome to Redskins Chronicles. I'm Larry Michael at Redskins Park. Each week, Redskins Chronicles takes a look at this team's storied legacy. And today, we sit down with former Redskin and Super Bowl champion Otis Wonsley. Before we do, next up for the Redskins, a date with the Chicago Bears Sunday at FedExField. The Bears are 4-2, coming off a victory over the Giants. The Redskins 1-4, having lost to the Cowboys a week ago. Taking a look back at that game in Dallas, a game where the Redskins had their opportunities, but they just could not find a way. Here's the highlights brought to you by Ameritel.
Romo takes the snap. Heat from the backside. Throws it at the middle. Man wide open. Jason Witten breaks a tackle. Breaks another to the 20-yard line. It's a Cowboy first down. Romo's going to give it to Murray up front. And Murray to the goal line. And it's a touchdown. Touchdown Cowboys. 7-man front. They're bringing 6. Robert over the middle. Fires it. It's caught. And it's a Redskin first down. Robert looking. Quarterback draw to the 5. Gets hit down to the 2-yard line. This is a different RG3 tonight. The kick by Forbath is up, and Forbath delivers. Romo on the shotgun on 3rd and 4. It's a slant. It's deflected, and it is picked off. Rob Jackson with the pick. And the first turnover of the game. He's going to field it at his 14. Breaks a tackle. Heads to the left side. He's got room. 35-40. Up the sideline. Can anybody catch him? They can't. He's going all the way. Harris all the way for a punt return touchdown. Robert takes the snap. He's got time over the middle. Seam route. It is caught. Jordan Reed across the 30. Down to the 20. Plowing down to the 18-yard line. Forbath is ready. The snap, the kick, and it is up, and it is good. Kai Forbath delivers. They come with the blitz. Robert's going to run up the middle to the 40. 45-50. He's got room 40. And he's going to step out of bounds at the 37. Gets hit late out of bounds. He wants the flag. He was hit out of bounds, and there's the flag, a late flag. Kick is on the way, and he splits the uprights. Redskins tack on 3 more, 5 yards deep. Harris takes it, comes right up the right side. He's got some room across the 30, gets past Kai Forbath, giving chase one of the Redskins up the right sideline, Harris, and one of the Redskins going to get him. He's looking to the right. He's going to get flushed, going deep into the end zone, looking for the receiver. It is caught, Williams, and it's a touchdown. It's a handoff to Alfred.
Offside.
Flag on the play. Alfred breaks a tackle. He's at the 20, at the 15, 10-5. Touchdown! Touchdown Redskins! Touchdown Alfred Morris! 49 yards out from the left hash. Forbath is ready. The spot. The kick is on the way, and he pulled it left. It's no good. 30 yards out. The kick is up, and he puts it down the middle. Steps up, runs out of time, and he gets sacked, and he loses the football. He loses the football at his own 5-yard line. Huge turnover. Robert gives it up at his own 5-yard line. Gives it to Randall, running left. Gets hit, and hit by Perry Riley. The push, and he breaks the plane, and it's a Cowboy touchdown. 4th down and 9 for the Redskins. This is it. RG3 looking, fires in the middle, caught. No, dropped. Leonard Hankerson hit him in the breadbasket. Dropped the football. Redskins fall in Dallas tonight. 31-16 is the final.
That's how it went last Sunday as the Redskins took on the Cowboys. Sunday, it's the Chicago Bears in town to take on Washington. And earlier this week, Robert Griffin met the media as the team prepared to face the Bears.
But I think for a lot of guys in this locker room, nothing's ever been easy for us. As far as in life, it's never been given to us. Some guys in this league get a break, and some guys don't. And with all the scrutiny going on with our team as far as the name, my knee injury, the way we started the season, all that stuff can pile up. And the good thing about the locker room is that we do have a strong locker room. And Coach says it all the time, we have too much character on this team to fold. And Fletch said it today. I saw what he said. We have the guys in the locker room, and we have the ability to dig ourselves out of this hole, and I think we will.
More on Sunday's game in a moment. Each week here on Redskins Chronicles, we take a look at the team's history through the eyes of the men that played the game. And coming up next, Amanda Mitchell and Redskins historian Mike Richman sit down with former Redskin and Super Bowl champion Otis Wonsley. Redskins Chronicles is brought to you by Diageo, who reminds all Redskins fans responsibility is a team sport. Redskins Chronicles is brought to you by AAA.
Welcome back to Redskins Chronicles. I'm Amanda Mitchell, joined by Redskins historian Mike Richman and former Redskin Otis Wonsley, also known as OT Bill. Otis, talk to us about how you got that nickname.
Oh, man. I guess when I was coming into Carlisle, I met a guy by the name of Dexter Manley. Dexter and I was getting off the plane to come to Carlisle, get to training camp. And one of the things he saw me getting off and getting my bags, and he said, hey, Bill. You know, Dexter's from Oklahoma, so everything is Bill, you know. And so as soon as I got off, I said, look, man, I'm looking for the same place you're looking for. Can we go together? You know, and ever since that day, that name stuck, OT Bill.
Did you have any nicknames when you were growing up?
I had a name in college, actually in high school. High school, they gave me a name of Cowboy Wonsley because I was so bow-legged, you know what I mean? My leg was always bent, so my high school coach named Billy Wayne Miller, who's passed on now, called me Cowboy.
So let's back it up just a little bit. You're talking about high school. Tell us a bit about how you got into the great game of football.
Well, I played junior high school ball, and after my ninth grade year, I didn't want to play football anymore. And this guy by the name of Coach Miller came and knocked on my door, and I asked my mom, you know, Miss Wonsley, we think that Otis could, get a scholarship in college if he pursue, athletics here, particularly football. And my mother said to him, he said, Coach, it's really up to him, but just go out there and ask his father. And my father was always in the yard doing things. And he walked out there to my father. He said, Mr. Wonsley, I want to talk to you about your son. You got a minute? And so my father said, sure, absolutely. And I was just, playing basketball in the yard, hooping around. And he walked up to my father and he said, Mr. Wonsley, I really feel that your son Otis could have get an opportunity to go to college and get an education if you pursue football. And, and I was behind Coach Miller, like, no, Dad, no, Dad. And unfortunately, my father said, sure. Why don't you take him right now? And that's how I got started playing football. So I came on, I left with Coach Miller, and practice started at 2 o'clock, and I went out there and I had to get dressed and I started playing football. From that point on, I've been playing football. A guy by the name of Coach Billy Wayne Miller, who's passed on, who's one of the greatest football coaches in Mississippi at that particular time.
So would you credit him with making you love the game? If you didn't want to get into it initially, what made you stick with it as a career?
If it had not been for Coach Miller and my brothers, I probably would have never played football.
Now, where did you play your college ball? Was Alcorn State?
Alcorn State. I did go to Alcorn State. In fact, my junior year in high school, I took a trip there just, one of my English teachers said, look, you might want to try Alcorn. It's a good school. So I went there on a weekend, and I was a junior year, and I kind of fell in love with Alcorn. And that's how I wound up going to Alcorn.
What positions did you play there?
I played running back. Came in as a running back. There were several guys in front of me as a freshman, a guy by the name of Gus Lee, who was one of the great Alcornites there at Alcorn as a running back. So I followed him after he graduated from Alcorn.
Mm-hmm. And were you drafted in the NFL?
I was drafted to New York Giants in the 9th round in 1980. Unfortunately for me, I got cut. I think it was like 5 minutes left to go before deadline, cut line, and I got released, and then I went back to school to work on my master's, and I worked as a coach there on the staff there. And then the following year, Coach Gibbs, and I think in March of that year, 81, I want to say, Coach Gibbs got picked up here to be the next head coach. And I think shortly thereafter, a guy by the name of Dick Myers called me and said, we want you to come in as a free agent. So that's how my career started here with the Redskins.
Now, were you immediately designated as a blocking back when you came to the Redskins?
No, I was not. Oh, man, that was a long process. Whereas I came into camp, there was about, there was like 5 #1 draft choices in the group. John Riggins, Joe Washington, Ike Forte, Buddy Hardeman. It was so many guys. And one of the things I could do that, those other runners didn't want to do was block. And so every time Gibbs called a play, in training camp at that time, to run a play, those guys wanted to run, I wanted to block. And so every time I got in there, I was like 210 pounds. I was just knocking the crap out of somebody. And one day he said, look, you get out, let somebody else get in there and start blocking, and you run the ball. And that's how I kind of I got designated to start blocking training camp as a rookie.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
So you told us about training camp, and Otis,
Absolutely.
we want to hear more. So we will hear more from Otis Wonsley when Redskins Chronicles return. And we're back, Redskins Chronicles, joined by Otis Wonsley. Otis, you were just telling us about training camp in 1981. So talk to us about that first year playing.
That first year, it was very challenging, especially at the beginning of the year. When the season started, actually, we was going to, terrible time. It was like, we was like 0-5, and we was just trying to do some things. But one of the good things about that year in the beginning was I think we was ranked #1 in the National Football League in passing yardage. You know what I mean? We was really lighting the the yardage up and scoring points, but we wasn't scoring enough to win, you know what I mean? So as I understand it to be, don't quote me, is that when we lost the last football game here at RFK, players got together and began to talk and say, look, man, we ain't going back tomorrow. Somebody got to know how we feel about this. And so that was the offensive line. And so as I understand it to be, that they called Joe Bugle. And they spoke to Joe Bugle about it, and we tired of throwing and we tired of losing. And so the word got back to Joe Gibbs. And so Gibbs said, come on in, let's talk about it. We didn't even watch the game from the previous game. We lost. He said, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take these 5 runs and these formations, and we're gonna go to work. And from that point on, that's when we developed a little thing called Wriggle Drill. And when that happened, man, we just went on a tear that was, we kind of like got in. One of the things we wanted to do, he wanted to make a physical presence by running football. And whenever you come up to basically try to stop it from running football, and that's when we had them little guys they call Smurfs and Monk. They got behind you and did some scoring. So that's really how we got to establishing the running game.
So do you think that started the momentum for 1982?
I really think it did. Starting the Wriggle Drill was with a lot of physical play. That's one of the things Joe wanted to be a tough sucker playing for the Washington Redskins. That's something that we really hung our head on.
Now, speaking of 1982, of course, that ended with a Super Bowl win, Super Bowl XVII, and that Super Bowl also included the most famous play in Redskins history, Riggins' run,
Absolutely.
4th quarter, and you were part of that.
I was part of that.
You threw the block, he ran behind you. Take us through that play.
During the course of the week, a guy by the name of Don Bro, which was my running back coach, he always tested me and asked me, OT, what's this, how, and I was always tuned it in to the running game, folks, because that's something I took very personal. We kind of like got in sync, and we call it chip. It's always chip. When we first ran this play, it was called like an isolation. Fullback coming, he go find the linebacker, and you just isolate a linebacker. I could never get there. And so Coach Gibbs said, okay, let's forget about it. Don't call it isolation. We'll call it chip. On your way to getting the linebacker, is anybody in your way? Chip on it. And so that's how we became to get famous in running that play. The offensive line would never get any penetration. If they didn't get any penetration and I get a clear path to the linebacker and anything is in my way to the linebacker, that's who I tuck. But this particular play in the Super Bowl, he's looking at me and I'm like, Coach, I'm standing on the side. I don't know. And so if you can, if you can really find the film and look at this pin, I'm sitting on this, like halfway, and he's thinking, and so Coach said, tell you what, let's set it to the left. And so we set the formation to the left and set Clint Didier to the right, and the guy followed Clint. And so when that happens is, I saw immediately focus onto the linebacker, and that's clear pass because now the safety is there, which was Don McNeil, I think. And Didier went back. When he went back, the guy followed Didier back, and now they gave me a clear pass to the linebacker. And we always said, hey, John, you got the last man. And so that's the man that John had, which was kind of back off and about 7-8 yards. I want to get the linebacker. Typically, I supposed to go around to get the linebacker. But in this particular play, I dove over the line, which is something you didn't do, but I went to get him instead of him coming getting me and meeting me. I went and got the linebacker, and John was off to the races.
So he was off to the races, and then talk to me about that feeling after you knew that may have sealed the deal.
Oh man, it was actually didn't really get a feeling that it was all over. That we know it was at a great play, good time during the game, but we still on the edge because we was getting to beat them up pretty good, and we had some more time on the clock, and we just started running the football. And at that particular time, the Hog was just eating them alive.
So during your 5 years with the Redskins, what would you consider the best year?
Oh man, I have to say the '83 year. The '82 year, it was a great year. We started feeling ourselves, we was working together. But that '83 year, the next year, we worked like a machine. It was at a point when teams came on the field. The game was over before they came on the field, and we just really blew them. If we got 21 points on you at halftime, before halftime, the game was really over with. And they didn't want to come to RFK and play. I think we did pretty good that year.
Well, Otis, we have some footage from 1983. Let's take a look.
Fear of complacency suddenly hovered over the Super Bowl champions. However, this was a team with something special. They were a group of characters with character, and their unique chemistry created a bond that was almost magical. Dallas proved to be only a temporary detour as Washington quickly got back into the fast lane with consecutive wins over the Eagles, Chiefs, and Seahawks. With a 3-1 record after 4 weeks, the Redskins' engines were revved up when they roared back into RFK Stadium.
So Otis, 1983, big year for you. What was your favorite moment, most memorable moment from that year?
Wow. Always excited with the fans. And I can remember playing in RFK and this time where the bleachers and everything just started rising, and the fans were saying, "We want Dallas." And I mean, the hair still rubs up on the back of my head, my neck, man, when we think about playing Dallas. I think whenever we played Dallas, it's a special moment in football history whenever we played those guys, because we just really physically beat them up. So I think one of the things that I remember about the game during those years is playing Dallas.
Speaking of special moments, you have a very special family member, Roger Mason, who's beloved in this area. He spent some years in Washington. Does that make you proud?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Whenever you have a child who, watch you play the game, not only watch you play the game, put the same effort that it takes to play the game, and then, live a life dream playing professional sports. That's really a dream come true, especially as a player, not only as a player, as a parent as well.
That's great, Otis. We'll take a look at what the Redskins are up to this week when Redskins Chronicles returns.
Redskins Chronicles is brought to you by Diageo, who reminds all Redskins fans responsibility is a team sport. Redskins Chronicles is brought to you by AAA. Welcome back to Redskins Chronicles. I'm Larry Michaels. Sunday is Think Pink Day for the Washington Redskins, a crucial catch. The campaign began 15 years ago with the Skins and now has become a league-wide initiative. Earlier this week, the 6th annual All-Star Survivor Celebration took place at Redskins Park. An event started by Chris Cooley as a tribute to his mother, and it's been embraced by the Redskins, with several players and members of WOW there for an awesome day.
5-year survival this year. I know where their head is right now, and I know in their heart to be able to have the players and to have an organization that supports, and to be able to do from the wigs to the makeup to the jeans and massages even, they're not going to forget today. It means a lot.
It's a great cause. The Redskins are involved with many great causes, but I think this is one of the best. These women are in a fight for their lives. They're true warriors. You feel like you're in a fight on Sundays, but it doesn't even compare to this. These women are incredibly strong, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here.
We don't wear pink just because it looks good. We wear it because we truly believe in the cause that it's bringing forth. We get to come out here and make their day, but they really do make our day and make it easier for us to go out and play with the passion for them.
All right, Chicago Bears come to town on Sunday. The Bears are 4-2. Jay Cutler has really benefited from the tutelage of new head coach Mark Trestman. Cutler has 12 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. His favorite receiver is Brandon Marshall, who's 5th in the league with 40 catches. Running back Matt Forte is also off to a fast start. His 442 yards rushing, 7th best in the National Football League. We thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Redskins Chronicles. I'm Larry Michael at Redskins Park. We'll see you right here next week.